Welcome back. This is Danberg SC, and it is the monthly episode number 6. We are in March of 2020. There's all kinds of horrible things going on, but we're not going to talk about that today because we have a lot of things to talk about involving StarCraft and StarCraft 2. With me, as always, we have no face this time, but it is the one, the only Kevy. How are you doing, man?
Hey, I'm doing all right.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Welcome back. So today we've got just 4 topics. It shouldn't be super long monthly today, but I want to get over and talk about some things. But first off, how you doing on the ladder? I'll open up.
I'll
open up
sure.
your. Jeez, hold on. I'll open up your.
I was doing quite well in the ladder when the season first started, but that's since dropped off and I've leveled out, even in games.
Over to Americas, so I can get on your. Just open it up real quick.
And so I'm 31 wins to 32 losses right now. Not a ton of games, but I'm doing much better as a Terran player than I was last season.
So yeah, you haven't played any games of Protoss this season. That is you're
at all.
22 games away from 2K, and you've like hard switched over to Terran this season. You're Plat 1 right now. But this is the first time you've actually officially really played Terran. You're at 31 versus 32. 31 wins to 32 losses this season, according to your actual ladder. And let me see here. Your MMR, you're at 29.63, so you're down towards the Plat 3 level right now. But it seems like that was just from taking about a week off. You have games from 8 days ago, 7 days ago, and then you've had games from 3 days ago. So, yeah, it's a little bit... You've got.
I played a ton of games and I had a huge win streak when the season first started 9 days ago.
But I'm proud of you. You're doing really well against Zerg. I'll take some credit for that as your training partner, your training buddy.
Thanks.
65% against Zerg, 42 against Terran, and 40 against Toss. Tell me about. If this goes into your goals and stuff like that, we can move it a little bit later. But tell me about your first like legit 60 games of laddering as Terran. What's been?
It's tough. It feels really difficult to control Terran, and you just basically all army move and you die a lot. So that sucks.
Do you think it
takes a long time? It's like a really tough wall of shit to deal with. Once you actually get it going, the control you can be much faster. I think that's the thing, is just being able to play for so long as Protoss and then being frustrated with Terran, but it's just focusing and not giving up, and that helps a lot.
No, I 100% agree. Do you think that Terran is overall mechanically more difficult than Protoss? Or do you think that's just because you're new at it?
Yes, it is more difficult than Protoss mechanically, yes.
I felt the same thing. I think Terran, because I've almost hit Diamond 2. I've hit Diamond 2 as Terran, but I've not maintained Diamond 2 as Terran in North America. And I agree. Terran is mechanically, if you're playing Bio like you do, mechanically is very, very difficult to control. You accidentally pick up shit in your medevacs, you lift off a building or something like that, or you have to really be careful with how you click. Where in Protoss or even in Zerg, if you fuck up something, like, okay, it's not a big issue, I'll just fix it. Like, especially with production, when you're in Protoss, it's like, oh, I fucked up everything. I don't have any of my... I lost all of my hotkeys. Basically, you have your Nexus and, like, your special tech buildings, but if you just hit the warp in button, all your gateways, you don't actually need a hotkey at all. So, it's not that hard. With Zerg, if I fuck up my hotkeys, basically, it's like I just have to go around and click on all the hatches and I'm back into it. But for Terran, it's like everything. You know, like I know that you have your hotkeys set up very similar to mine. So if like you fuck up your hotkeys on your command centers, you have different command centers as well. So you have like some planetaries, some orbitals.
Yeah.
And then like all of your production, you have like on a different hotkey itself. It's like it's very rough if you fuck up that. So
yeah, it's definitely more mechanically difficult.
Yeah.
Right now I'm winning against Zerg with Terran, but not so much Terran or Protoss or other Terrans. Other Terrans can be quite difficult, and the games just seem to go on forever.
Yes, I remember that too. When I played Terran, TVT games would average about 25 minutes. Average.
Yeah.
And there would be some a lot longer and some a lot shorter if I was getting cheesed or something like that.
Yeah.
But considering
as a Protoss game, you can force it to be like 5 minutes a game.
Yeah.
Just
done. I'm gonna all in you with this. But if you all in as Terran and you don't completely kill the other opponent, because of mules and because of how like defensive Terran can be, they can just be like, I'm gonna try to get up to 2 base and re-attack out with like battle cruisers or something. And as long as they don't like unsiege their tanks, they're like damn near impossible to kill until like the 20-minute mark, because you just have to get air and you have to go in, and if you fuck up and you push and you throw your army and then they just counter push you with like 5-6 tanks, then you die and you threw the game. So yeah, Terran is very rough, considering a standard game of StarCraft, if I'm playing any other race, is maybe 12-15 minutes. I would say that's about an average 10 to 15 minutes, but with TVT specifically, it's always 25-20 minutes. So, but I kind of enjoyed it after a while, like getting tanks and getting Vikings and like just baiting out attacks and stuff like that. I found it really fun eventually. What was my overall TVT? I played 1 season as Terran, so this race report is pretty accurate for how I did. I played 700 games in 1 season, and yeah, my TVT was 49%. So it wasn't super good, but 128 wins to 130 losses. It's fun though.
Yeah.
For myself, right now, the issue I'm having, I've switched over to the Asian ladder officially. I don't know if I said that last monthly or not, but I have kind of forsaken myself on the.
I'm proud of you getting on that Korean route. I think that's better for you overall because of your ping being closer to those servers.
I don't get as much lag drops. I lost the game when I was playing North America a little while ago. I was just kind of coming over there when I wanted to relax, and I lost the game hard that I had like in the bag because of lag. Like I had a bunch of lurkers and I just couldn't burrow them because of the lag, and then they all died. So it was a little bit sad. But right now I am doing really well against Zerg, really well against this season. Sorry, really well against Zerg, really well against Terran. But my Protoss, I'm at 9%, and I'm not trying to like Smurf, but I cannot beat Protoss. So this like 1 win to 10 losses is legit. I've like tried to win these 10 games, but I've lost it. So I still only have about 30 games this season. This season just started like 2-3 days ago, I think.
Yeah.
Right? So
no, it started like a week ago. For sure, a week ago at least.
Oh, that's right. I haven't played for like a week. That's getting into a little bit of next going on. But yeah, overall I'm still like 60% against Zerg, 54% against Terran, and I'm at 34% against Toss for overall on the Korean ladder. Protoss is really hard right now. I'm having some issues with it. But overall, I can't complain because there's not a lot of Protoss I get. It's really like less than a third of the games. It's almost 33%, but it's like 30% of my games I play against Protoss. So outside of that, I'm winning a lot more. So can't complain too much. But yeah, let me see. What else do we got? Let me go back to monthly. Okay. As far as February went, how was your February?
My February, like I switched to Terran halfway through, so I don't really know. The problem is I did terrible as Terran for that first thing. I was like gold 2 for that whole time, so yeah, probably not much there. I mean, I can check for season 42. I had almost 300 games played. And
300 games for season. Okay, nice.
I was winning. I won 51% of those games, so I mean,
you went positive.
That's both Protoss and Terran.
Yeah.
Yeah, Terran versus Protoss wasn't too good. TVT was good, and TVZ was good. So like, yeah, even though I was sitting in gold 2, I was still doing 50-50.
Good. And it's your first real time playing Terran. Like I know you've played a little bit before, kind of just messing around, but I think I taught you an all in.
Helped, but...
Yeah. I think I taught you an all in, and you were just trying that on the ladder as Terran. And now you're actually doing the 2-1-1, which is a very technically difficult build. I'm very proud of you for doing that, and you're learning. I remember watching replays from you at the beginning of when you started over to Terran. Like you're like 10th or 11th game, and now up getting closer to 100 games, your decision making, your control is much smoother. Like you're macroing behind it much better. Like you're able to like you're starting to figure out like what you can and can't get away with that drop. Like if you see like 5 stalkers, you're like, I think I can just mulch them down if I do this correctly and if I keep my medevacs back, and then like you can kill it. But if you're like flying in and you see something, a lot of times you'll be like, nope, going home, not gonna lose my drops. So you've been doing really well. You've been improving a lot.
Thanks.
Yeah,
it's interesting. Our races, it's all different. Anyway, we play all the races, so it's in our clan.
Yes, correct. Our races is it's interesting to look at that. I'll have to get back. I'll have to upload all my stuff to SC2 replay stats again soon, so it bounced up. But I probably have like 2,000 games to upload to it. Not even kidding.
Yeah.
But for me, last month I had the unfortunate despair of right at the end of the month, I lost 150 MMR from where I started. So I started at 3.9. I was in around 4K for the entire time, but I tipped into Diamond 1 a few times, but I put this as what MMR did I end at is where this league is. So I've tipped up into Diamond 1 here and here actually, but I ended that season in Diamond 2, so I'm just writing it as Diamond 2.
Yeah.
And I'm over here, and if you look, I'm actually in February I ended 3.7 in Diamond 2. In March I'm at 3.8, but I'm in Diamond 3. That's because the League of Korea and North America is different. This is my first KR. Let me just do this NA. So the servers are a little bit different. So when I started over in Korea, my MMR, it takes 4K MMR, or I think right now 3.9 to get up into Diamond 2. So I have to get back to this level here. So right now I'm 72 MMR up from where I left in February, but unfortunately during February, if you look down to, where's my mouse? If you look down towards, let me see here. There was a couple days where I missed in February, and that caused me to be minus 5 hours. So I was 5 hours under. Sorry.
From your goal. Yeah.
From my goal. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this season also. So yeah, but I'm jumping ahead a bit. But yeah, basically I finished a little bit weak. I was a little bit busy with work, so I couldn't get all my time in, and I was kind of just lost in what I should be doing. So I was a little bit discouraged, and that's when I was like, okay, well, I've always wanted to switch over to Korea eventually, and I'm getting a lot of losses due to lag. Like every time I would play, I'd be like, oh, I lost this because of lag, and be that true or not true, it was still something that I wanted to fix eventually, and I just bit the bullet and I said, all right, let's just play in Korea. I'm over in Asia anyway. Let's play on this ladder. So I've been doing that, and it's been
I think that's so much better for you. There's no downside to it.
Yeah.
Sure, they're hard, but like it takes a couple weeks, and now you're beating them, and you come back to North America and you can crush people. So
yeah, that was fun. I came back to NA, and
they're harder, right?
I feel like it's harder. They have the same MMR, but I feel like I think it is actually a little bit harder in the same MMR range. The MMR ranges is about the same. I don't see it a lot, but there's a lot of people I'll play. I'll be like, God, this guy's 3.9. Like, this guy is really good. And I'll look through his stats. I'll be like, he's not smurfing. He's just a 3.9. He might have an issue with Protoss, like how I have an issue with Protoss. I've got like the 60 and 70% win rate against Zerg and Terran, but as against Protoss, I have this 9% that's just holding me down. So I'm probably 4K MMR if I'm playing Zerg versus Terran. I'm probably 4.1 MMR if I'm playing Zerg versus Zerg. But if I'm doing Zerg versus Protoss, I'm at like 3.5, like just like bottom of diamond. So it kind of drags everything else down. So I think I've got to get back and rebalance things, but it'll get there. It'll get there. I'm not too worried about it. After that, for next item up is March goals. I'll go real quick. March, basically, I've kept the same hour time that I want to do in February, so I'm doing 14 hours a week. Unfortunately, I had like a whole week where I was like just slammed with work and everything else because of all the stuff that's going on in the world right now. So I missed a whole week, so I'm already way behind. And then this week I came back. I was still a little bit busy again. So I'm behind. I don't see myself hitting my actual goal again this month, but I've been doing other things like exercise and like dieting and trying to like go outside and kind of get de-stressed. So when I do end up playing, right now you can see the ladder is like 378, 38, 374, 38. So like I'm popping back up, and I'm right now 72 MMR up from where I was at the end of last month, and I'm 17 MMR up from where I was at the beginning of the year. But I think this is going to again start escalating because I'm over in Korea. How about yourself?
I've only been able to play like one day every week basically, but when I do, I grind out tons of games.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
For March goals, I probably will be doing. I want to try to get some Protoss games going again in this season.
Yeah.
But I just want to relook at some new builds. And,
that's a good idea.
See if I can scout more because I don't scout at all right now. When I'm doing I'm just focusing on perfecting my build, and I'm not scouting with it. So that's one thing I could do for sure.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I think one thing that I think you should also look at doing is incorporating liberators into your main into your standard composition. Because if you're going liberators, one of the big issues you have is Colossus, and if you just have liberators, you already have a counter to those Colossus immediately. So you don't need to like, oh, I need to switch into Vikings. Like, no, I already have 2 or 3 liberators, so I can just attack it. And then you have to get used to sieging your tanks and your liberators and your bio. So there's a lot more going on. But if you can get it, you're really strong.
Right now, I'm losing most of my games in the early game, the like before 6 minutes.
Okay.
Whereas after that, I'm okay. Like I can
Understand.
hold on.
So yeah, your early scouting and reactions, if you get that solidified
if I get rushed, I almost can never beat it. Like TVP, I have a 0 wins out of 5 games. So.
Well, next time you lose, save the replay, and then we'll talk about it again. Like, don't react. Just do your standard build if you're getting rushed and you don't have like a reaction. Again, just do your standard build as you're doing it, and see like how far into that build you would have gotten, regardless of if they hit you or not. And sometimes you'll just win it, and if you don't, then okay, how do we change it? Widow Mines.
I think I'm not scouting, and then my build is just not designed for a 6-minute game.
Yeah, correct. It's your build is 5 minutes. You get a power spike at 5 minutes, and then your next power spike is when you get 2-2 with your Marines.
Yeah, so I win from the 6 to 12 minute time quite a lot.
Yep, you get over there with your drop and you wreck them, and then you're ahead.
If they come over before that, then I'm done.
Yeah, so that makes sense. That makes perfect sense. We'll keep working on it. So that's a good goal. Start scouting, get some Protoss back in, and learn how to maybe add another unit into your composition. If you do those 3 things, I think you'll at least hop back up to the top of Platinum, if not bottom of Diamond, within this season as Terran. Easy peasy. And then, my March goals I already went over. So last thing for today that I'm actually really excited to talk about, and we'll take our time on this one a little bit, is the Super Tournament. Right here. Okay, so we have every season, what me, you, and Jordan actually do is we have our, oh my god, hold on. This is a bit of an issue. So we have our predictions. So I'm just going to add, I'm just going to change this up a little bit for a moment. Just make a new. Copy to new spreadsheet.
Duplicate it?
Yeah, I'm just duplicate it so I can screw around with it a little bit. Okay.
You made it in a whole new sheet, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, like in a whole new document.
Oh,
not in this spreadsheet. Yeah, you want to duplicate it.
Existing spreadsheet.
Duplicate.
Duplicate.
Yeah. There you go.
Oh, I got you. Okay, that's much better. Okay, yeah, sweet. Sorry about that. Boom. All right, technical difficulties. Let's take this.
Minor technical difficulties going on here.
Minor.
I hope the music that I can't hear is soothing your ears as we go along.
Okay. Boom. Oh, damn it. There we go. Okay, so here we go.
Okay.
So these two have actually already gone through. I know the results of them, but I'm not going to spoil it. Me and Kevin are actually going to watch them after this. But if you're watching today, We'll talk about how we think this is going to go overall in the Super Tournament, and what our current predictions are for the round of 16. So this is the round of 16, and I'm extremely happy to have GSL back. Actually, when I watched the first opener for here, and I heard Taste Toastus go, "We're back," I was like a little bit emotional. I was like, it's been months since I've watched live StarCraft, and especially in GSL with Tastosis. Like they had Katowice, they had Katowice, which was good. We're not going to really talk about it. Katowice, if you don't know, spoilers, Rogue wins everything. He won the whole thing. But
I just can't get into those. I prefer GSLs. Like,
yeah, so do I.
Are just
100%
better. They're more enjoyable. Mm-hmm. They're just like, yeah, I don't know.
It's not Serral wins, because that's what everything is right now. It's just like Serral's going to win it, and who's going to get second. But there's a lot of really good games that I think Serral cuts out, because like he'll take out this top tier player, and you're like, fuck, now that guy's out of the match. Like he's just gone. So if Serral's like picking off these low level dudes, it's like, okay, whatever. It was going to be a 3-1 or a 3-0 wash against whoever they're playing with regardless. But I don't know, it's just like boring. So Serral actually lost to Zest, because Zest is doing this massive like adept cheese basically every game against Zerg, which is super overpowered. And he killed Zest. Zest killed Serral. The best StarCraft I might have ever seen, besides like Serral versus Raynor in BlizzCon last year. That was the best game of StarCraft I've ever seen still to this day. With that like 25-minute game where they were going Ultras versus Lurker and shit like that. It was amazing. But Maru versus Rogue was some of the best StarCraft I've ever seen. Katowice, if you haven't watched it, go watch that. But ended up going Rogue versus Zest. It was the shittiest final I've ever seen, because Zest cannon rushed Rogue the first game, and then Rogue basically went, I'm not going to make more than 30 workers for the rest of these 7 games, and I'm just going to fucking kill you. And that's how the games went. It was a really terrible final, but that's aside. So right now, going into GSL, which isn't just foreigners cheesing and Serral winning and this other stuff. This is actually really exciting games. We've got these 16 games here, and we've got our predictions. I haven't put in the reel, and my buddy Jordan hasn't gotten his predictions to me yet, so I can't put them in. But I want to talk about this. Let's talk about these first round of 8 over here, and then the round of 8 over here, comprising the round of 16. So we've got blue is Terran, green is Protoss, reddish pink is Zerg. That's how this goes. So Kevin, talk me through your predictions here and the games that happened on the 18th.
Right. So let's see. Today's so I'm mostly going for Protoss for a lot of my predictions, if you can tell.
Yeah, it's not wrong.
Let's see here. Although actually I like, so you know my favorite's Maru, of course.
Yeah, Maru's your wet dream of StarCraft player.
Yeah. And there's some good matchups. I want to see the Parting versus Trap game.
Yeah.
That's going to be exciting. The only guy I don't really know is being like in here all the time is Armani. And
Armani?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So out of this
is like the classic like GSL lineup.
Yeah. Looking at these names, I think the people that I was really surprised that got into this level was Parting.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, think about the other Protoss that we don't see here. Obviously, Classic isn't involved anymore. He's off at the military. But there are Gumiho, didn't make it in. Who are some other big names that didn't make it in this year? Trying to think of other Terrans that are really good. All the other big Terrans are here, besides Gumiho. Zerg-wise, we've got the big 3, Su, Dark, SOS. As far as Protoss goes, we've got Stats. We've got Deer. We've got Zest. Those are the big 3. SOS is always in. He's a Mind player. Haz didn't make it in. Haz is kind of a very, like SOS, kind of like a very strange player. He's a very strategic player, but he'll make these like crazy builds, and like that's how he'll kill people. So I think this is a pretty good thing, except for the fact that Parting, I think, was kind of the weakest link in this this matchup next to Armani. Armani, I was really surprised he ended up walking in here. These two are the ones that I was like, wow, okay. But after that, it's as you said, classic GSL. Like this is what I watch for. Are these games?
I just want to watch the high level play and exciting stuff.
Exactly. So let's go through here a little bit. So you've got TY versus Zest. You've got Zest going 3-1. Was there a reason for this, or is this like a your idea?
Mostly because I think Zest will win versus TY, but I don't know. I don't know. I think Protoss is just doing so well right now. So
see, you're playing Terran now, and now you're understanding. So when you look at this, I think is what it is. For me, TY is one of the most brilliant Terran. He's one of the smartest SC2 players there is. I watched Zest play in Katowice, and he looks really strong. Zest looks really strong. So I agree that I think Zest is going to take this, but I think just TY being TY, I think he's going to take at least 2 games. I think it's going to be a close. And if TY actually takes this, I'm not going to be overly surprised if TY wins. But I do think that Zest is going to play really well, and Zest is going to take this round as well. So if you don't know how we do this, is we have a point system. If you win the matchup, you get 1 point. If you win the matchup with a perfect spread, you get 2 points. So that's how we can kind of make it so, of course, it's going to be this person, but what's going to be the spread? Are they going to steal a game with a cheese, or is it going to be just hard off? And it's actually really fun. Me, Kevin, and Jordan, every year we do this for all of the GSL and everything like that. And if whoever wins, sometimes I'll do like I'll buy a skin pack for him or whatever. But I kind of try to make it interesting every year for these. But yeah, I like this.
It does make it more fun to watch when you have some bets on it.
Exactly. It's not just watching StarCraft, and it's not like we're betting like thousands of bucks. It's like maybe a few dollars. I don't think we've ever bet actually cash, but we'll do like someone buys this for us or something like that, or next time we go out, you buy the beer or things like that. But next we got Parting versus Trap. I agree with you. I think Trap is going to win this. I think Trap is a better Protoss than Parting. But I fucking love Parting, so I gave him. He's gonna at least take 1 game because it's Parting. He's gonna do some Cannon Rush because it's Parting.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be that way. But you have him taking 2 games. What's up with this?
I think just when it's a mirror match, it's more likely to be even, maybe.
That's very fair. Parting is a very good PvP player. I give you that. I think Trap overall is stronger in PvP, but it's so.
He could have some newcomer luck.
Exactly, but no. Also, I think very well. It's so hard to scout in PvP.
Yeah.
It's very much kind of. It's not rock paper scissors, but if you don't see it coming, it's very much like you're hard countered by something, and finding and seeing that coming is very different, very difficult. And if you're just trying to play safe against everything, then you're just putting yourself behind. So you've got to take these risks. And if Parting is playing well, I think you could see him go up to 2. But I don't think. I agree with you. I don't think. Trap is going to lose to Parting on here. Next one, I am interested in this.
Dark should win this because Dark is just the best right now.
Dark won BlizzCon last year. He was the number 1 on the planet. And Patience is the most Protossy Protoss there is.
I think his ego's too high, so I want to knock him down a bit.
Okay, I'll give you that. Dark is the most narcissistic player in SC2. But I think that's why I love him so much, is just because he's such an asshole a lot of times, and I think that's so endearing when I watch him have interviews. But no, if he loses the Patience, I'll be very surprised. But I think it could be very much so if his ego gets in the way and he doesn't properly prepare. Protoss right now is very strong. Zerg got nerfed against Protoss, and it could be very interesting. Dark doesn't do the Swarm Host Nidus shenanigans that Rogue does, but Dark is still a really strong player. So going down, SOS versus Rogue. So before we talk about this, they're both in the same team house. They're both Genera Green Wings, so they both play each other a lot. That being also said, Rogue basically crushed last year in GSL and in all of the circuits, in specifically this matchup, Zerg versus Protoss. It was because he was basically the architect, the designer and the executioner of the Swarm Host Nidus style for Zerg versus Protoss. I don't think he invented it, but he figured out how to make it unstoppable. And he basically won everything because it was overpowered. So they nerfed the Nidus. They nerfed a lot of shit to make that not as strong as it was, but it still is strong. It still is strong. I've died to it personally when I play random on the ladder, and it's really infuriating to play against, actually. But SOS is a super mind-gamey player. If you remember back in 2018, I think it was, 2018, the year of Maru, SOS basically 3-0'd Maru in BlizzCon. And we all were waiting for that Maru versus Serral final match. But SOS came in, mind-gamed the fuck out of Maru, killed him, and then he was out of the thing from the round of 16. So it was like, what happened? Yeah. So it was really, really depressing. So this, I like how you have him as 2, but I agree that I think Rogue is going to take it. He's just a better player. But I'm being a little bit overconfident because of this matchup, Zerg versus Protoss. And Rogue is so strong in this matchup. I think he's only going to get 1 game, but I think SOS could take 2. What is your kind of idea for this 3-2?
I think just Rogue's good, but I like Protoss, so I think it's gonna be close.
No, I noticed this.
It's gonna be closer. I like doing
Your Zerg is you're a little salty against Zerg. I can see your patience is going to take because he's overconfident, and you want to see Rogue get knocked down a few pegs from SOS. I see. No, it's good. It's good. I think it's fine. You're allowed to have that kind of a mood, and you're allowed to do that.
Yeah, that one was more of a guess, that SOS Rogue, because they're so both good players. But yeah, I'm not too sure. Like with the stats Maru, like that, I'm really hoping Maru wins, but the SOS Rogue is more of a guess.
That's fine. 1 second. Sorry. Sorry.
No worries.
Yes. Next up, so I think this is pretty good. So we're basically saying Zest is going to win. We agree. Trap is going to win. We agree. We differ on this point. We both think Rogue is going to win. But what's going to be the spread? So I think this is going to be interesting to watch. Next up, Stats versus Maru. So you've got 3-0 because Maru is your wet dream of a man. But tell me a little bit why you have no confidence in Stats.
It's not that I don't have any confidence in Stats. I just think it would be amazing if I was right.
I think it'd be. I love it. I love this guess. I went a little bit more for the 2 point. I do. Watching Maru and Katowice, Maru also looks super strong, and he lost to Rogue. Maru lost to Rogue and Katowice, but that's because Rogue. It's because Maru was playing this very weird style of like all-inning the fuck out of Zerg right now. Like he's just like doing this super aggressive all-in, like 2 base every game, and Rogue is really good at defending that. And that's why Maru was kicked out. But Maru looked so strong. So I do think that Maru is going to take this. But, I mean, Stats, of all Protoss, Stats is my favorite Protoss. So I've got my favorite Terran versus my favorite Protoss. And I want to see this go 5 games because I like watching them both play. So I think it could be very one-sided. Stats isn't doing super well this year. He's not. In the past, Stats has gone up and gone number 2 in BlizzCon 2018 versus Serral, which was, insane. Stats could have taken it. No, it wasn't 2018. It was in GSL versus the World. Sorry, 2018 BlizzCon was Rogue versus Serral. Stats went up against Serral in GSL versus the World 2018 or 2019, and he almost beat him. Stats is a really good Protoss, but this year he's not been on the ball. So I can see yours actually being a prophecy come true on this.
Ooh.
I could. You can get the 2 points from me. Sue versus Innovation, we both went, this is going to go 5 games. And I think we both agree that Sue and Innovation are on like the same level of tier. They're not like, Sue will go into the higher tier. He'll be in the round of 4. He'll be in the final 2 sometimes. And same with Innovation. But there's nothing that sets these two like directly super far apart from each other, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, they're close. Yeah, I like Innovation.
It's good. And again, we have a differing point on this. I think it's going to be Sue's going to take it, and you think Innovation's going to take it. I think this has just to go with I'm a little bit more biased towards Zerg, and you're a little bit more biased against Zerg or towards
last
Terran.
game will probably be like a 50-minute game.
Yeah, that would be great. I'm hoping for that. I actually didn't get to watch this. I know the result, but I hope it's the same. Actually, no, I don't know the results of this. I watched from here yesterday, basically, but I've seen the finals here. But next coming up, Deer versus Cure, and I made these predictions before I watched anything. I made these predictions a long time back. So Deer versus Cure. Deer has always been a very strong Protoss, but Cure is this up-and-coming new Terran who is really starting to kick ass. He's in the top of a lot of the like small offline tournaments he's in. He's winning a lot of stuff. He's going toe-to-toe with people like Maru. He's losing to people like Maru, but he's not 3-0'd by Maru. He's like taking games and he's killing these other really big-named players in other matches. I mean, he's doing very well this year. So I love both of these players. Deer is great. Cure is great. But I think I'm going to give a little edge to Cure because of how kind of he's new and he's upcoming and he's got a kind of fresh eyes at this, where Deer is kind of set in his ways and people can read Deer and he knows how Deer plays.
Yeah, people can read you too, right?
Yeah, of course. Of course.
Yeah.
But how do you rank Deer in the list of Protoss here? Because we've got more Protoss than another race in the GSL right now. But what is your like top 3 ranking of Protoss inside of this? I'm actually excited to hear your number 3.
Let's see. I'd probably put I would probably do Zest, Trap. That's so hard.
It is. This is why I love GSL. Like, you look at these and you're like, it is literally anyone's game. Of any of these 16 players, they could come out and be like amazing this year. My top 3 easy in this order: Stats, Zest, Trap. Always in that order. For the past 2 years, that's been my order of players. And I love Trap. When I play Protoss, I take Trap's builds because I love them. I can't play like Stats. He's too defensive. He's too like reactionary, and he like just is like really smart when he plays. And Zest, he's so aggressive. He leans a lot on his micro, and he used to have these problems back in the day where he would lean so hard on his micro, he'd be floating this. They would call it the Zest bank, because he'd be microing his face off and getting these wins, and he'd come back and then warp in like a shitload of stuff because he was banking all this stuff. He's been improving, so the gap between Stats and Zest I think is closing because Zest is learning to macro better. I mean, obviously he's a professional StarCraft player. He macros better than anyone.
Technically, as far as points goes for Korea, it's Zest, SOS, Deer.
Yeah, this is what I mean. Right now, Deer and SOS are really good right now. SOS in the beginning of the season, he comes out with these new builds that are like kind of anti-meta, and that's how he'll pick up a lot of wins at the beginning. But throughout the season, SOS's builds kind of like they're just figured out like, oh, I just do this now, this new balance, or I just do that. Yeah. And it kind of plays itself out. But Deer is very strong. Deer did very well recently in a lot of other matches, especially in Katowice. He's a strong player, but I don't know if it's just the matchups that they were placed against that are giving Deer, you know what I mean? Like, we're still kind of new in the season. So if there's like a player that's not good against A matchup or B matchup, and they're getting those matchups versus a player that's good against C matchup and he's getting all those matchups, there's an artificial like delta. But overall, you have to be able to win everything if you want to be the best. So I think it'll taper off, or he'll just shoot up. But right now he's in my top 5, but he's not in my top 3 yet. Deer.
Right. Yeah.
And then last, the slugfest that will be this ZBZ. I don't know how much you know about these two Zergs, but Solar is a super aggressive cheese Zerg. He's just like the most aggressive player ever, and so is Armani. These two guys are just going to throw so much Lingbane or like Roach All in at each other. It's going to be insane. I'm going to give it to Solar. Armani is like, if you lined up all of these Protoss, he would be the Patience of this Protoss. I think Parting versus Patience would be a very fun match to watch because I think they're very similar in level. But I think Parting has better executed builds and ideas than Patience. So if you were to line up all the Zergs here, it would be like however you want to put it, Dark, Rogue, then below, like 2 pegs below that would be SOS, and then like 4 pegs below that would be Solar, and then Armani's down here. So like these 2 picks coming in here was very interesting to me. Actually, well, honestly, these picks, but Patience is actually doing better. I'll give it to him. But Parting and Armani, I was very surprised to see them in here. I don't see Armani winning this, but I think that might just because you didn't know these 2 guys. If you want to change it, you can, but it's a ballsy move to think Armani's going to take. This would be like saying Kira is going to beat Maru.
Yeah.
Would be like how this goes. But it could happen, and especially in mirror matchups, especially in 2 really aggressive players, it could happen. It could happen.
Yeah. All it takes is a Baneling bust exploding at the right time.
One Baneling will fuck up your parade in ZVZ. You're very much correct, yes. Or like 1 DT in PvP, or like, 1 shell of a tank, or 1 like Doom drop in TVT will just be like, oh, now I'm fucked. But yeah,
exactly.
That's how this works. I'm excited. We're going to watch these today, right after this. It's going to be fun.
Woo.
But I think that is about it for the monthly this month. Anything else for you today?
No, sorry it took so long to get around to it.
No worries,
It's kind of been a weird month for sure.
Yeah, absolutely, to
So
say the
we'll have
least.
to get into it. Now that I'm working from home, I can help out and maybe make some more ideas for next month.
It's going to be good. It's going to be good. Well, and thank you very much for watching. Thank you everyone very much for watching is what I wanted to say. And we will see you again next month in the next monthly.
Cheers.
Cheers.